All right, so do you work in tech?
I don't.
Okay, cool. Did you go to school for tech, get a degree in anything in tech?
No, I mean, I went to school for aviation.
Okay. All right. Do you know how to code or do any of that techie stuff?
Not at all.
All right, bro. So all right. So you don't work in tech. You didn't go to school for it, and you don't code, but you own a tech startup.
Right. And it's crazy when I was telling you last time how I even got here in tech, but no, none of my stuff, my journey in the beginning was directly tech related whatsoever.
Yeah. So how did you just tell us your story? Like what led you into your business and things that took off that allowed you to kind of like grow and scale your income, grow and scale your other businesses, and just kind of breadcrumbs your way all the way into having your own tech startup?
Man, since college, I've always been interested in sneakers. So
Yeah.
I had a sneaker store. I was selling eBay. At the time, we didn't have OfferUp and Let Go. It was Craigslist, eBay.
Mhm.
Selling eBay, ended up learning about Shopify, started putting stuff on Shopify.
Yeah.
Learned how to drop ship. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to sell the people sneakers if I can find deals and then make, 10, 20 bucks, 30, 40 bucks from there. Man, ended up building and scaling my site. Ended up selling my site for about $1.2 million.
Whoa, wait, hold up. Wait, all right. So we got to connect somewhere because I'm hearing the numbers, and I'm sure everybody watching, listening, y'all hearing the numbers too. So I'm hearing you saying selling something for $30, there's $50, and then we get to 1.2 mil.
So I originally would just go stand in line at Foot Locker, finish line. I would hustle and bustle online and find people like, hey, if you got a pair of Kith sneakers, or you have a pair of Off-White sneakers, or a pair of, retro Air Jordan 1s, I would say, okay, well, you have these shoes for $300, $400, and they're reselling right now at $600, $700. I buy them from you, I resell them, I send them to Flight Club, I put them on eBay, I'd auction them off, I put them on Craigslist, and I do a meetup. And then I started getting a little bit more smarter. I started going to those other third-party sites and saying, well, hey, instead of me just spending my money to buy them outright, if you're already selling the shoes for $500 and they're reselling for $800, I'll just middleman the shoe. So, I mean, in a sense, and then as I started growing, and this was 2 years pre-pandemic, 2 years before the pandemic, and sneakers has always been a popular industry for everyone. I mean, like you got on, some Fire Air Max right now. So, it's like everybody loves sneakers. Sneakers
they're not like your shoes, though.
Everybody appreciate it.
Fire.
So it's like, when I looked at that and the value of sneakers, I've always been a sneakerhead. You have those hype beasts that just care about the popular. I love all kinds of sneakers, from the Adidas Shell Toe all the way up to the Red October, Air Yeezy. But anywho, I would scale. I started learning more about systems, and I met Christiana. I introduced you to her recently. Met Christiana off Snapchat. She ended up DMing me and was like, "Yo, like, you're smart. You're smart as hell. I should get you out here."
It's cool. You can cuss on here.
Oh yeah,
she
was like, "You smart as shit."
We Christians, but this ain't a Christian show.
She was like, "Yeah," she was like, "You smart as shit." So she was like, she flew me out to Orlando. She brought me out to Orlando, and honestly, that was like the peak of my entrepreneurship journey. I was working at Family Dollar and Walmart at the time. Man. So I was a store manager at Family Dollar on Sycamore View Road, and I worked at the Walmart right off of, what is that? Not Austin P. Winchester Road. I was working at the Walmart on Winchester Road. I was working 2 jobs. Yeah. I was sleeping on the floor. I was staying with 2 of my other homeboys. So, I mean, man, and it's like, for me to see her, like, she had this huge townhouse in Lake Mary. Huge. Yeah. She probably not going to want me to tell them about this. But
she low-key, something about her screams luxury. Maybe it's her social media.
Oh, boy. Bougie.
But, bro, no, let's keep it a stack, though. When I first met you, like, that's the same thing. That's the same. I didn't get bougie, but when I saw your social media, I said, yo, this dude living life. I said, this man out here living.
With a lot of hard work, though.
I mean, definitely. Like, again, we met, you were working, and then I saw glimpses of the fruit of your labor. So I was like, okay, this dude's working, and he's living life. I think that's super fire. It's actually really crazy hearing these things. Like, this is my first time hearing this. It's wild, like, knowing you to the degree that I know you now and seeing the way you move, and obviously, like, where we live, but even beyond where we live, like, just some of the places I see you at and the moves I see you making, and to hear that you were working at, you said Walmart and Family Dollar.
I was working at Walmart on Winchester Road and the Family Dollar on Sycamore View, and then it was the day, this is a kicker, though. I would overwork, and I would do doubles. It was the day that I got fired. I remember calling my mom. I was like, I got fired. At the time, I had oh my gosh, I had a Challenger that probably barely could crank up at the time, man. I had a car that was beat up. It looked nice, but it was beat up. And I remember calling my mom. I was like, I got fired. And my mom at the time was working at Family Dollar too. She was a manager, so it was just a simple fact. Like, I realized right then and there, it's like, this can't be the journey I want to live. Like living the Monday to Friday cycle, enjoying my payday on Saturday, Sunday I sleep all day because I've been working the whole week. And then
what did you see? Like, was there something, someone, or something like what? Was there something you saw that like sparked something in your head to make you?
Chris would never know this, but it took when I went to Florida and realized that I have someone near the same age as me that is. And she comes from a structured home, and the fact that she comes from a structured home, she'll tell you, you're like, hey, I have a silver spoon, I've had this, but I didn't want to use any of my dad's money. So to watch someone that comes from $1 million family and then separate themselves from that and still go through the same struggles of homelessness, eviction, loss of funds, and I'm like, you know, like, damn, like it's realistic. And it took for me to say like damn, like I can actually make it out of this. And the fear of going back to a homeless shelter, the fear of Section 8 again, the fear of like, I don't even got $20 to put in my gas tank today. How I'm gonna make it up the street, you know? Yeah. So that was the epiphany that woke me up. And then the simple fact that also, like, my mom may not like me saying this, but like me and my mom are working at Family Dollar. My mom has 2 degrees. My mom is now getting her doctorates. My mom has never owned a home. My mom has always worked a job. And I looked at that and to say, for me to be 21 years old, to be sitting in the same position as someone who's near 50 and they've worked their whole lives, I realized right then and there, like, it's time for me to figure something out. Yeah. So that's where I came into the journey of like entrepreneurship, and Chris took me out and she started teaching me all these systems. And I took those systems and implemented them into an online store. Because like I said at the time, I was just eBay. Everyone that went to MTSU with me knew I was an eBay junkie. I would sell everything on eBay. I'll sell your joggers on eBay if I can make money off the joggers. You know, anything that would bring profit. And then I built those systems, scaled those systems out. And I did that for about 2 more years, and I ended up scaling. I ended up growing. Got my first mortgage. Felt amazing. If you're in Memphis, you got Front Street and Second Street. I got to stay on Second Street. Yeah. Beautiful loft, beautiful condo style loft style condo. And then the pandemic came out of nowhere. Yeah. And man, I remember being on the phone with my previous partner in San Diego, and it's crazy now because it sounds crazy saying this. I was like, I only have $100,000 to my name. I don't know what I'm going to do. And when I look back at that now, it's like, it's crazy because it's like, not to say in like a boastful way, but I'm like, oh shit, like $100,000. Like I can make that in a month if I wanted to go back into e-com. I can make that in 2 weeks. And it's like, but then it was like, I remember on the phone with my partner's like, I had never seen 20K before. Yeah. I had my dream car at the time. I had my Trackhawk. I had my loft. I had my 100K. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I was literally at a standstill. I couldn't scale my store any faster. Yeah. The world was frozen. No one was traveling. And it was like 90 days of terror. So fast forward through that, I hear a lot of people say, oh, pandemic millionaires or pandemic ballers. Bro, the pandemic, if you didn't know what to do, if you didn't know how to properly take the opportunity that came from this, I myself didn't get any of those government programs. I just didn't qualify for them at the time, but the amount of capital that was out there, like,
it was crazy.
I was selling so many shoes. Like I was selling other people's shoes 2 to 3 times over what they were worth. It's just people just wanted to spend money. Wow. But no, fast forward from there, I ended up learning about Flippa. Christiana introduced me to Flippa, FLIPPA.com. And I got a valuation for my website.
Shout out to Flippa, the sponsor for this episode. No, I'm just playing.
Shout out to Flippa, but I wasn't paid. But yeah, Flippa, man, I ended up putting my website on there. You can see it. It's in my highlights. My website was valued around $2 million. I got a real valuation around 1.2.
Crazy.
And then I was like, Chris was like, you can sell the website. I'm like, nobody's going to pay that much money for a website. Guy was like, yo, I got a proof for an SBA loan. I want your website. Can you provide the proof of traffic? Can you give me bank statements? Gave him everything, tax filings, all of that. He's like, okay. And then like after, Uncle Sam and whatnot, I went home with like around $800,000.
Man, that's nice.
And then I took that money and got into real estate. I don't even, till this day, I'm still surprised how I got in there. And like the story I was telling your partner earlier is like, I had a guy who was watching my story every day. He was like, yo, like you're smart. I was trying to build an app at the time. I didn't even know. And I guess that was my light introduction to tech, but I still had never crossed paths directly into like a solid technical infrastructure of understanding what tech is. And then from there, he introduced me into a commercial wholesaling deal, and I ended up doing the wholesaling deal. It went productively, made $30K. It was the easiest $30K I ever made. Of course, my Shopify store was
an easy $30K.
But no, that was easy. It was like a simple phone call, a follow-up, some T12, some financials, and the guy was like, I want it, and I put my assignment on it. Yeah. And I started learning more non-conventional systems from a wholesaler because wholesaling was just so predatory. So I created my own system, which is mediation financing. I was teaching people how to find people who couldn't afford to fix their houses up, how to find the investor, fixing the house up on a draw system. Once the house is complete, refinance the house into the mediator's name, which is the person that's middlemaning the deal.
Yeah.
The homeowner gets a profit, and their property is sold, and the investor gets their money back too. And they kind of got me there. So,
man,
boom.